When two brands such as Andretti Global and Cadillac registered their interest in Formula One, you would have thought F1 would welcome them with open arms. Two iconic brands in the motor world would surely enhance the sport. However, to put it bluntly, they weren't invited with open arms and had to fight tooth and nail for even a look into F1. Their bid has caused division between the FIA and F1 and has done almost the impossible by uniting all the team principals apart from two. Well, it looks like there will be further damage to the Andretti bid after Alpine's latest decision. Stick around to find out how the Andretti bid is in danger of derailing and who Alpine's shock new ambassador is. Andretti Global has been pushing for an F1 spot. It has shown that they will go to great lengths to get it done, and they have not been afraid to ruffle a few feathers along the way, with Michael notably going to the Miami GP to ask all the teams to sign a petition for Andretti Global to enter F1. They have also labeled the other teams greedy, which, as you can imagine, has not gone down well with them, with Stefano Domenicali, the CEO of F1, looking down upon this move in particular. The F1 boss had this to say. There were teams like Mario Andretti and Michael Andretti that were very vocal about the will to enter Formula One, Domenicali told Sky F1 last weekend. He was then pushed on what he thought about Andretti's labeling of F1 as greedy and responded by saying, "In my view, it's not smart to say that the teams are greedy to protect themselves, but that's my opinion, but there are others that are much less vocal that would like to come in Formula One." Mario Andretti had a pretty strong response to Stefano, with the former F1 driver having this to say. "All we've ever done is shown excitement, maybe myself, at the prospects of seeing Michael entering Formula One," Andretti told PlanetF1.com in an exclusive interview. "I don't think there should be anything wrong with that. For the rest, we're following every bit of protocol. I think everything is in place right now." You cannot argue against Andretti's enthusiasm for entering F1, with the American team having to deal with several moving requirements. The two critical points of the bid: the value that Andretti will bring and who will pay for the new entry. Both are crucial for the Andretti entry, and one of the points now looks to be in the balance. The new deal and announcement from Alpine threaten to derail this bid. Andretti has had some of the teams in their corner, with both Alpine and McLaren being the two teams that are willing to back a new F1 team. The longtime friend of Andretti and CEO of McLaren, Zak Brown, giving this stinging interview about his fellow members on the grid. Brown told Autosport, "I found some Formula One teams are very short-sighted in their view, on not taking a longer range view of what are the things that can grow the sport, and they kind of think about the here and now. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised some of our competitors are quite short-sighted in their thinking." Andretti is actively pushing to secure a slot on F1's grid ahead of the 2026 regulation changes after the FIA opened expressions of interest. Now, all Brown's comments have to be taken with a pinch of salt, as he is a long-term friend and business partner of Michael Andretti. The other team in Andretti's corner is Alpine, with the Renault-owned French team officially confirming they will supply Andretti with their engines if their bid is successful. "We agreed that if they get their license to run in Formula One, then we will provide them with a powertrain. It's for them to prove it and for the others to assess. If they join, we'll be happy to join them. If they don't, it means that all in all, it didn't work out." Rossi told Reuters at the launch in London of Alpine's A523 Formula One car. Now, this news is not new or breaking, but merely confirms what many have known or suspected for a long time, but it does bring into question one of the key elements of the Andretti bid. Cadillac was brought in to help combat the argument of what value Andretti brings to the sport, with the team hopeful that getting a name as big as GM to the sport would surely mean that the F1, the FIA, and the teams could not say no to the Andretti bid. One has to ask themselves, if Alpine is supplying the engine for Andretti, then what value is Cadillac bringing to the sport, merely just a brand on the engine? With the teams looking at any excuse not to get Andretti into F1, this small detail could derail the whole bid. The FIA's new expression of interest considers all stakeholders when considering any new entrants into F1. The existing teams will look at any detail to ensure Andretti is not a new F1 team. The question of what is bringing value in F1 will be asked. Now the aero chassis and other combustion-related development will be handled by GM in Warren, Michigan and Charlotte, North Carolina. GM is bringing some value, but we will have to wait and see what the teams make of this decision and if it could be used as a negotiation piece for F1 teams. The biggest question would be to ask is what is determined value in the sport, with Zach Brown having this to say on the matter. Our general view is that so long as a team is additive to the sport, whether it's an 11th team and/or a 12th team, and can help make the pie bigger, drive greater awareness, and we all get more sponsors, we get more media deals, and they pay what's a fair franchise fee, which all sports have, then I see no reason for them not to join. F1 is no easy sport to come in and instantly do well. Teams have struggled when entering from scratch, with the more successful new entrants being teams that have bought out old existing teams. This is the route that Horner believes Andretti should take, with the Red Bull team principal having this to say to the Daily Mail. Red Bull was Jaguar, which was Stuart Ford, Horner said. Look at Mercedes, who go all the way back through Honda to Bar to Tyrrell, Aston Martin to Jordan. That has been the procedure for many years. Now, this is easy to say, but at the moment, there are no teams to buy, with Williams not open to any potential buyers and Audi sealing the deal with Sauber under Andretti's nose. Porsche is also waiting in the wings to see what is available, something Mario agrees with. The fact is that there are no existing properties available. Michael and his team, they have pursued every aspect of that scenario. There is nothing available. There are no existing teams for sale, he said. There is a cynical theory, and one that may hold true, that F1 teams are holding out for the new Concord agreement, as the current deal has a $200 million anti-dilution clause for any new entrants, with some rather significant figures being thrown around as to what the new entry fee should be. Andretti will do well to get in before this time, something that Mario agrees with. I don't know what is in play right now. The one thing that is paramount for us is to be able to be on the grid at least in 2025. That's the commitment that was made clear. Cadillac wants to make sure that we have at least one season under our belt before the new rule comes into effect, where they come into play with their engine. So that's what has to happen for us to be able to have all the pieces in place, Andretti said. The FIA claim that they will have a decision made by June 30th of this year. Whether they will make this deadline is another question. If you're an Andretti fan, you will await the date with bated breath to see if the Americans have succeeded. Alpine released its 2023 Challenger with not one but two liveries. That was not the only thing that had fans gasping, as the French team not only went and announced Zidane as their new ambassador. Zizou is known to be a big F1 fan after being spotted at multiple races. With the French footballer being adored around the world, it's a potential masterstroke from them, with Gasly having a fanboy moment when asked about Zidane. Since I was a kid, I've been a huge fan of him. My racing number 10 is partly thanks to him. I started playing football when I was 5 until I was 11 years old. Let us know what you think about Alpine and Andretti. Will it add value? Comment below.